Jungkook stood beneath the dazzling lights of Paris with thousands of purple light sticks illuminating the night sky, creating a scene that many ARMY would later describe as unforgettable. The second night of BTS World Tour in Paris had already been filled with explosive performances, breathtaking choreography, and countless emotional moments, but no one inside the stadium could have predicted what would happen during the final moment. As the music slowly faded and the members gathered near the front of the stage to say goodbye, the atmosphere suddenly changed. Jungkook, known for his strength, professionalism, and endless energy, held his microphone tightly in his hand as he looked across the sea of fans chanting his name. His eyes glistened under the stage lights. At first, many believed he was simply overwhelmed by the moment. After all, Paris had welcomed BTS with an intensity unlike anything they had experienced in recent months. For 2 nights, the city had transformed into a purple ocean, with fans lining the streets, filling cafes, and gathering around the stadium hours before the concert even began. Yet something about Jungkook's expression felt different. He took a deep breath and raised the microphone toward his lips. "ARMY," he began softly, his voice trembling ever so slightly. The crowd immediately quieted down, sensing the emotion in his tone. "Thank you for..." He stopped. Thousands of fans watched in complete silence as Jungkook lowered his head. His shoulders shook slightly. He attempted to continue, lifting the microphone once more, but the words refused to come. A visible tear rolled down his cheek. The stadium erupted into supportive cheers, with fans chanting his name louder than ever before. "Jungkook! Jungkook! Jungkook!" echoed throughout the venue. It was a moment that would instantly spread across social media platforms around the world, with clips accumulating millions of views within hours. Those closest to the stage could see his hands trembling as he tried once again to gather himself. I just..." he whispered before covering his face. The youngest member of BTS, often called the Golden Magne, had spent years standing fearlessly before millions of people. He had performed through injuries, endured intense schedules, and carried the expectations of fans across every continent. Yet in that moment, none of those titles seemed to matter. He was simply Jungkook, a young man overwhelmed by gratitude, emotion, and the realization of how deeply he was loved. The members immediately noticed his condition. Taehyung was the first to move closer, placing a comforting hand on Jungkook's shoulder. Jin stood nearby with a concerned expression, while RM quietly watched, allowing the moment to unfold naturally. Jimin's eyes appeared emotional as he gently leaned toward Jungkook, whispering words that could not be heard over the cheers of the audience. Suga and J-Hope exchanged glances before joining the others near the center of the stage. Within seconds, Jungkook found himself surrounded by the very people who had shared every chapter of his journey. Fans in attendance later described the scene as one of the most touching moments they had ever witnessed at a BTS concert. Social media posts flooded timelines with messages such as, "He gave us everything tonight," and "Seeing BTS comfort Jungkook reminded me why they are family." Videos of the members embracing him quickly became some of the most shared clips of the evening. One fan wrote, "Paris didn't just witness a concert tonight. We witnessed love." As the cheers continued, Jungkook attempted once more to speak. He lifted his head slowly, tears still visible in his eyes. "I wanted to say..." He paused again, laughing softly through his tears. "I wanted to say thank you." The audience immediately erupted into applause. "Sometimes," he continued, "I wonder if I deserve this much love." The statement was met with immediate cries of yes, from every corner of the stadium. Though his words were simple, they carried a weight that resonated deeply with fans worldwide. For over a decade, Jungkook had grown up under the spotlight. Millions had watched him evolve from a shy teenager into one of the world's most recognized performers. Through every album, every world tour, and every challenge, ARMY had remained by his side. On this night in Paris, it seemed the magnitude of that journey had finally caught up with him. RM eventually stepped forward, placing an arm around Jungkook while addressing the audience. "Please give him lots of love tonight," he said with a smile. "He always gives his heart to everyone." The cheers that followed were deafening. Taehyung gently rubbed Jungkook's back while Jin playfully attempted to lighten the mood, earning laughter from both the members and the crowd. Even in emotional moments, BTS had always found ways to take care of one another. It was one of the reasons their bond continued to inspire millions around the world. As videos circulated online, hashtags related to Jungkook immediately began trending internationally. Fans shared personal stories about how his music had impacted their lives, while others posted messages of support. "You don't have to be strong all the time," one post read. Another simply stated, "Thank you for staying with us." Within hours, countless compilations of the emotional moment appeared across social media, with fans revisiting every second of the interaction between Jungkook and the other members. Many pointed out the way Taehyung instinctively reached for him, while others highlighted Jimin's expression as he quietly listened to Jungkook speak. The images quickly became symbolic of BTS' enduring friendship. Throughout the years, fans had witnessed countless examples of the members supporting each other during difficult moments. Whether celebrating achievements or facing challenges, BTS had consistently demonstrated that their greatest strength was their unity. Paris Day 2 became yet another chapter in that story. Industry observers noted that emotional moments at concerts often leave lasting impressions because they reveal the humanity behind global superstardom. While audiences are accustomed to seeing polished performances and carefully prepared speeches, moments like these remind everyone that artists experience the same emotions as anyone else. In Jungkook's case, the overwhelming response from fans only reinforced the connection he had built over the years. By the end of the night, the entire stadium was singing together. Purple lights swayed from side to side as BTS stood hand in hand at the edge of the stage. Jungkook, now smiling through lingering tears, bowed deeply toward the audience. The members followed beside him, creating an image that many would later describe as iconic. Before leaving the stage, Jungkook turned back one final time. Though his voice remained emotional, he managed to deliver the words fans would carry with them long after the concert ended. "Thank you for waiting for us. Thank you for loving us. I will never forget tonight." The stadium erupted once more. As confetti filled the air and the lights slowly dimmed, fans realized they had witnessed something extraordinary, not because of elaborate stage effects or record-breaking attendance, but because of a single moment of vulnerability shared between an artist and the people who loved him most. In the days that followed, discussions surrounding Paris Day 2 continued to dominate fan communities worldwide. Articles reflected on Jungkook's journey, while countless edits and tributes celebrated the emotional scene. Yet perhaps the most memorable image remained the simplest one: Jungkook sitting quietly at the edge of the stage, unable to finish his words, while six familiar figures immediately surrounded him without hesitation. In a world often defined by headlines and statistics, that moment served as a reminder that some of the most powerful stories are not told through numbers but through genuine human connection. And on that unforgettable night in Paris, Jungkook didn't need to finish his speech. His tears had already said everything. As fans slowly made their way out of the stadium, many remained frozen in place, unwilling to let the night end. Some held their army bombs close to their chests while replaying the final moments on their phones. Others stood together in tears, embracing complete strangers who had shared the experience with them. Paris had hosted countless historic performances throughout its history, but for many in attendance, this night would forever belong to Jungkook. Outside the venue, chants of BTS. BTS. BTS continued long after the concert had officially ended. Videos uploaded by attendees captured emotional scenes across the city. Fans sitting on sidewalks wiped away tears as they discussed what they had just witnessed. One attendee from Brazil explained, "I've followed Jungkook for more than 10 years. Seeing him cry tonight felt like watching someone you've grown up with finally realize how loved they truly are." Another fan from France added, "He always takes care of everyone else. Tonight, it felt like the entire world wanted to take care of him." Meanwhile, backstage, the atmosphere reportedly remained emotional. Staff members who had worked alongside BTS for years were seen congratulating the group following another successful concert. Although the members were undoubtedly exhausted after 2 nights of high-energy performances, there was also a sense that something special had happened. Paris Day 2 would not simply be remembered for its setlist or production value, it would be remembered for reminding millions why BTS continues to hold such a unique place in people's hearts. Fans online began revisiting old interviews in which Jungkook spoke about his fears and insecurities over the years. In one memorable conversation, he had once admitted that he often worried about meeting expectations and becoming someone fans could continue to be proud of. Looking back, many ARMY realized that despite his achievements, Jungkook had never stopped being the humble and hardworking person they first met years ago. "He still worries about deserving our love," one viral post read. "After everything he's given us, I hope tonight showed him the answer." By sunrise, hashtags connected to the concert had accumulated millions of posts worldwide. Fan artists created illustrations of the members embracing Jungkook on stage, while editors compiled emotional montages set to BTS songs. Across every platform, one sentiment remained consistent: gratitude. Fans were grateful not only for the concert itself but for being allowed to witness such an honest moment. Music critics and entertainment commentators also weighed in, noting that BTS has always maintained a rare relationship with its audience. Unlike many artists who carefully guard their emotions, BTS has consistently allowed fans to see both their triumphs and vulnerabilities. Over the years, they have spoken openly about pressure, burnout, self-doubt, and growth. Paris Day 2 became another example of that openness. It reminded audiences that even global icons sometimes struggle to find the right words. Later that evening, clips surfaced showing different angles of the moment. In one video, Taehyung could be seen gently squeezing Jungkook's shoulder before quietly speaking to him. In another, Jimin appeared to smile encouragingly while wiping his own eyes. Fans analyzed every interaction, touched by the natural way the members rallied around one another without hesitation. "They didn't even think about it," one fan observed. The second Jungkook broke down, they were already beside him. That's family. Perhaps the most striking aspect of the moment was its simplicity. There were no dramatic announcements or elaborate speeches. There was only a young man overcome with emotion and 6 people refusing to let him face that emotion alone. In an industry often criticized for its relentless pace and impossible standards, the image felt deeply human. As the world continued discussing the concert, some fans began sharing stories about how BTS had helped them through difficult periods in their own lives. Messages poured in from every corner of the globe. "Their music got me through university. They helped me when I felt alone. I've been here since 2013, and I'll continue supporting them for as long as they need us." It was as though Jungkook's tears had opened the door for millions of others to express emotions they had been carrying themselves. The following morning, local newspapers in Paris featured photographs from the concert, many highlighting the emotional finale. Tourists visiting nearby landmarks could still spot fans wearing BTS merchandise and discussing the previous night's events. Cafes near the venue remained filled with conversations about Jungkook's speech and the members' reactions. For one brief moment, it seemed as though the entire city had united around a shared memory. Even those unfamiliar with BTS found themselves moved by the images circulating online. "You don't need to understand K-pop to understand emotion," one commentator wrote. "Seeing someone cry because they feel loved is universal." That sentiment quickly resonated beyond the fandom, introducing new audiences to the group's story and the bond they share with their supporters. Back at their hotel, speculation among fans continued regarding what may have caused Jungkook to become so emotional. Some believed he was overwhelmed by the energy of Paris. Others suggested that standing before tens of thousands of fans after years of shared experiences had simply become too much to process in a single moment. Ultimately, however, many agreed that the exact reason mattered less than the message itself. What remained undeniable was the sincerity of the moment. As evening approached once again, fans gathered online for live-stream discussions and virtual listening parties dedicated to celebrating Jungkook and BTS. Screenshots from the concert were shared endlessly, but one image in particular became iconic: Jungkook seated quietly with tears in his eyes while the members stood protectively beside him. It quickly earned a nickname among fans, the hug heard around the world. Years from now, when people look back on BTS World Tour, they will undoubtedly remember sold-out stadiums, record-breaking achievements, and unforgettable performances. Yet they may also remember a quiet moment near the end of a concert in Paris when Jungkook could no longer continue speaking and discovered that he didn't need to. Because before he could find the words, 6 voices and millions more beyond the stadium walls had already spoken for him: "You are loved, and you are not alone."